Right, Joe. This little quick little post, whatever. Just wanted to go over some things about the team that I'm sure many fans are just understanding about the Giants. I know sometimes you come by here, it feels like you hear a lot of the same things out of the New York Giants, maybe out of some of the videos, and I wouldn't disagree at all. You need to understand something about the whole situation with the New York Giants, though, before you try to get too worried about you know, daily occurring things with the New York Giants, it seems. But the team is a mess. Okay. The Giants are a big mess. We need to understand this as the fan base and the fandom as we finish out these last 6 games, that this team is just all discombobulated, all out of whack, misaligned, and just not good in so many different ways that when you put it all together, it fits together in a perfect gluttony of just ineptitude, right? That's the New York Giants. Of course, recently we got this, this last week or so here, we've been hearing about players missing meetings for whatever reasons, like Abdul Carter, a third round pick, our rookie here, standout, who's supposed to be a standout for this season, along with Jackson Darden, etc. But this season has been completely absent from most statistical measures of his performances on the field. Now, if you're going to look at some film, you can see that he is providing good play in areas and shit like that, and it trickles over to other players being able to do things as well, but that's not always the case. Like if I'm going to speak about somebody like Brian Burns, since he's the only one that's really doing anything on defense right now, he's getting those sacks and shit no matter who's on the field with him. It doesn't matter if it's Carter on the field with him, Kayvon on the field with him, Dex on the field with him, McCurrick or any of the secondary guys out there. It don't matter who's really on the field with a Brian Burns right now when it comes to him making plays. So it's good to hear some things about players like Abdul Carter and that stuff, but the team itself and the performances that we see on game day, that shit don't always reflect how you feel like it should when we hear about those things because the team doesn't come away with any W's. Um, the team is just so misaligned when it comes to bringing in the talents that we have for these like pickup free agents in the middle of the week. We grabbed Isaiah Hodgins. He's back with the team again. I know, he's got some good play with us at in the spot starts that he has, but he has never been, a player that seemingly was able to stick to the roster for whatever reason. If there was just not enough slots, or it wasn't consistent enough in practice for them to feel like he, deserving an extended contract, for the season or something like that. Who knows? Through the remaining games, whatever. Um, just a mess. And it's just so off now when you look at more of these games and if they keep losing like they are right now, how we're going to be with, the GM situation and, going into a coaching search and, or if Kafka even does, let's say he wins these last 6 games, just to speak on the positive side of it, if that even really means much, actual genuine fucking good stuff that the team can take into the next season in 2026 it's not enough even remaining in the season in my opinion even in a turnaround to really get a definitive answer about the New York Giants or the talent evaluation. We need like somebody like Carter, as we're speaking about. He'd have to have such amazing explosive play for these last back end of the season here to really be able to go into 2026 and look at him as a foundational piece on the defense if it's going to be doing stuff. Like, let's say we finally draft some secondary guys, who can actually be out there and playing up and stuff. When the free agency stuff and the injuries, players get hurt, but we get the free agents in, man. It never seems like we can get them in here and actually get solid play out of them before they have, injuries happen and stuff like that. So now, certain players that they're out for numerous weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks on a 17-week season, 17 game season. It's hard, unless they come right back and are in automatically playing up in their first game back, like so many teams or often teams can do, it seems, other than the Giants. Even speaking about something like coaching changes, and people might expect some type of boost in performance from the team because Mike Kafka was named the head coach, but the Giants, no, just the same thing from the Giants, same measly outputs from the offense and the defense and winning. You're right, because I can't even explain the defense sometimes. Like Dex right now, who knows what Dex is going to be like? I expect I think the one thing saying somebody like Dex is that it's almost a guarantee he should be a better player next year. You know what I'm saying? He should have better performances next season, especially with the injury thing. He definitely should be better. I can't imagine him being worse as a Giant, is to say it like that, which is unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate to say I have to say it like that as a Giant, because as a Giant, it doesn't seem like anybody can really um, get to be the best selves in a team-oriented sense. Um, with other players in the field at the same time. I don't know. I'm not in the locker room. We're not in the locker room as a fan and stuff like that. But you can just, at these post games, when you're hearing it from the players and you're hearing it from the coaching staff, you can tell that the energy in there is down. And I don't want to even say because it's just missing players. Because even if Malik Neighbors was there or Scatterboo was still up and running, if you're still catching these L's, these losses, I didn't call the last one a fourth quarter collapse, but these fourth quarter up and losses, I don't. It'd still be a mess. It'd still be a mess. Thinking about next season, the draft, the trades to have to move back since the team does have a quarterback just brings on more concerns because the GM situation has been so messy, man. It's been so not good. Devin Singletary, of course, I'm not gonna go into that player again. Darren Waller, Darren Waller. This is a weird situation when the time of picking him up and just the effectiveness that they got out of they get out of the players that they bring in. It's never been satisfactory in my opinion, really. It's always been some edge case stuff. Defense right now with Shane Bowen is just terrible defense on the regular. To just always hear about his execution or it's not the coaching, it's execution. Then okay players, you know what I'm saying, locker room, whatever, like they're okay, then it's the execution, right? The coaches are they not executing the play calls? Is that what we're trying to hear right now? Is it not executing the play? But something like that in that red zone run last game for Green Bay, that didn't even feel like an execution of play. That felt like just by the players. They didn't feel like a good play at all. It was just not the way the alignment was, the personnel man is out there, the masking of the play, disguising of the play. Can we even disguise coverages like that enough to confuse these quarterbacks or to position those for the run? I don't know. It's just more stuff coming about this team. It's just the Abdul Carter stuff is like the only talk about really because the players the same thing we've been watching. It's the same thing people might hear when they come by here, and it's the same thing I feel like I have to say about the team. It's almost wow. All right, peace.